Hi everyone, I'm back. It is Tuesday and I am filming a new video for you guys. Hope you guys had a good week. I've been playing around with a new technique. I've been saving my toilet paper rolls for a really long time, thinking I'm going to do something with them. And I've tried a couple different times, but I haven't been happy with the results. So I had an idea the other day and I tried it and I got some cool effects. So this is one of them. And I've got that 14 karat gold in there. Kind of reminds me of like a tide pool. That one I put the Payne's Gray, which looks like black, but it's actually Payne's Gray, in the tubes. And then I did a dirty pour around the tubes. And that's what I got. So that's one of them. And then I did this one yesterday because I wanted to try out the colors that I'm going to do today. And see which direction I wanted to go with it. Let me hold this way because this is actually the way I think it should go. I also did some painting or I call it drawing with my paintbrush. I'll give you guys a close-up of that one. Some pretty cool stuff going on in there. So yeah, I'm going to show you how to do that today. And millions of different ways you can do this. You can configure these differently. You can put the color in the cups and put the neutral color on the canvas. There's just a whole bunch of different ways you can do it. On that last one I showed you, I actually put the gold and white. I did a dirty pour with that and did the color in the cups. But today I'm going to do opposite of that. I already did one dirty cup so we could have more time to fiddle with it after I get it poured. Oh, hang on just a second. I need to get gloves on. And I also have my get some paper towels up here too. I also have my gold and white already in the cups, and it already has silicone in it. So this is my white. I have it makes a mound, but it sinks right away. And then my 24 karat gold, I finally found it, Deco Art. And I have this one mixed a little bit thicker, so it actually makes a mound. The gold, silver, some of the other metallics, if you don't mix them thick enough, then you lose them. They just dissipate into your painting. So always make sure that you mix those a little bit thicker, on the thicker side. And then they're usually a craft paint. So the craft paints are thinner to begin with anyway. So I use less floetrol and less glue wall in those. The glue wall though actually makes it a little bit thicker. But then when you add the floetrol. So you just have to be careful when you start adding the floetrol. You don't get it too thin. All right, so I wanted to show you how I made my cup of color. So I'm gonna move these out of the way for a minute. This is a 16 by 20, by the way, gallery wrap. So 1.5 inch sides on it, nice deep sides. I'm gonna go big this time, see what we get. That's why I'm mixing up 2 cups of color. I believe these are 7-ounce cups. So I want to make sure I have enough paint for corners and leftover stuff. All right, so I started out my cup with Artist Loft Metallic Blue. This is really pretty when it dries. It's got a nice metallic to it. Then I'm going to go with, yeah, that was my light. Sleeping Beauty Turquoise, which is actually one of Christina Welch's colors. She has a new line of colors out, and you can only get them if you join her site on Facebook, her page on Facebook, and it's called the Parage Posse, like garage but Parage, and most of you are probably already signed up with her, but really cool new paints that she's got. All of them, I believe, are metallics. So that's nice too. Okay, so what I did here is I put in the cup the blue all over the bottom, and then I just put the Sleeping Beauty on the one side, and then I added some blue folk art color flash. Okay, and I'm doing those on that side and that side. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with I'm going to add a little bit of Prussian blue that I put some iridescent medium in. I'm just going to put that over the whole top of that. And that is, I believe it's Artist Loft, but it's the level 2 or 3 Artist Loft. Okay, then we're going to go in and I'm going to go opposite. So I went this way, so this time I'm going to go this way with the colors. Just on the side with the, this is dioxazine purple and prism violet, and those are Liquitex colors that I mixed. The dioxazine is super dark if you have it by itself. So if you want that, that's fine. But I like mine a little bit lighter. This is metallic purple Artist Loft. Metallic purple. And then I've got purple flash, folk art purple flash. So I'm just going to put that over both of those. Okay, and then I have some Artist Loft Aqua. Okay, and I'm going to go back to going this way on this side. And then Aqua Flash, Color Flash. I have a lot of color flash in this, which should be interesting. Woo. Okay, and then we're going to, I think I got all the colors in, so I'm going to start over. I'm going to start over with the metallic blue over the whole thing. So whatever direction you went the first time, just go opposite. It just gives your dirty pour cup a little bit more variation. Molly does this. I don't know if you've seen her videos. I'm sure you have. She does it with, when she does her colander pour, she does a similar technique. The Prussian blue. Purples. See, aren't you glad I already had one cup done? Hopefully it doesn't meld too much together. Aquas and then the blues again. I went out of order. Just for something different. I love that Sleeping Beauty color. It's almost a turquoise, but it looks light blue to me. So, all right, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to put a little bit more. I'm not going to stop there, obviously. I'm going to put a little bit more color flash on top of that. The blue flash, and then I'm done. So let's get my bottles out of the way because I'm going to be making a mess. All right. I'm not going to stir those because I stirred them the other day and I didn't like the results too much, so not going to do that. So I'm putting these kind of in a flower kind of design. When you cut your tube, because it's hard to get a straight cut, just make sure where you cut it that you always put the side that is then there's where they cut, put that down. Don't put your cut side down because otherwise it's uneven and color will leak out. You're still going to have a little bit of leakage out of these because they don't sit exactly flush with the canvas, but you're going to have less than if you do it the other way. All right, so I've got my white and gold, and that is going to go in the cups. I'm going to do that now. I'm only going to do one layer. Did not mix up enough white. So I'm going to have to put a little bit more white in that cup. And add a little bit of silicone. When you put silicone in, don't squeeze your bottle. It'll drip out on its own, so just let it drip. If you squeeze, you end up with too much. Okay. So I filled this about 1/3 of the way with the white. And then I'm gonna, and you, as you can see, or I don't know if you can see, but they're dripping out a little bit, but not that big of a deal. So I'm gonna go in with some gold. Not as much of the gold as I did with the white. I just want the gold to be more of an accent to the white. And these don't have to be exact. You know, you're doing a piece of art, so just have fun with it. Sometimes a little off kilter is better. Anyway. All right, I'm gonna put those out of the way. Because like I said, this is a pretty big canvas, so we're gonna get messy. All right, have everything in there. Now I'm gonna do the dirty pour. And see, if I had swirled that color together, you're not going to get as much of the ribbon kind of effect. Make sure you get all the way around the cups. Look at how pretty that is already. Can't wait to release that gold and white into that. It's going to be gorgeous. Okay, and then I'm going to go around this maybe one more time, and then hit the corners. Okay. I'm going to tilt a little bit, slowly and carefully, just to bring some of that color over. It's okay if the cups move a little bit. I just want to make sure that this inside area is covered. I want to take those cups off because I'm actually going to be doing something a little bit different with I'm not just going to take the cups off. Just going to get this one side over here and then we'll be ready. Okay. Back to the center with the paint. I'm going to put my cups back where I have them. Okay. I want to put them a little bit in the middle more. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the corners first. So I'm just going to tip a little bit and then pull out. Okay. Tip, pull out. Okay, I'm going to push that one up a little bit, come out with it, and same over here. All right, try not to scrape the canvas. I'm having a little bit of scraping going on when I get to the end. Try not to do that, but I'll get better at it as I go. Alrighty, so we have a pretty cool design going on. I'm not going to torch yet. The only silicone I had, remember, was in the cups. So it gives you kind of a, I like that look where you get some cells, but not the whole thing is covered in cells. And as I move it, we're going to get more of those cells are going to come up. Okay, I'm going to go back down. Keep an eye on where the weight of the paint is. That gives you control over where the paint goes. Okay, back to the middle. I'm going to go straight down because I want to hit this corner over here. Okay. I'm going to go to this other corner. The less stretching you can do on a big canvas, the better, because you end up with squigglies. I'm not crazy about squigglies, so I'm just going to go down here. Get that last corner. Okay, and then we're going to go back. Get that a good stretch. All right. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a torch. Got some really cool stuff going on. Now we have to decide where, I have to decide where I want to pour off. And what is my composition? Let me torch a little bit. I mixed up that white. It was a little too thin on the last couple that I did. So, because I did one and I scraped one. Now the white and gold, you know, I have to experiment with this because the white and gold make their own cells anyway. Metallics do that. They just naturally make cells. And the white over stuff definitely makes cells on its own. So, you know, I want to play around with not putting the silicone in and see what happens with the white and gold. Okay, so let's see where we want to go with this. I feel like I have too much gold down here, so I want to maybe pull this over and then dump. So I need to get my paint down here first, and then I'll dump just right here to get some of that gold off. Where's the weight of my paint? Okay, the weight of my paint is still up there in that corner, so we're just going to pull it down and then over. Stretch out that pretty blue corner. Okay, make sure you have a hold, and then I'm just going to dump. Okay, and then we'll bring it back up. All right. All right, now this is usually where I like to, figure out composition and what would look better. So I'm still not liking all of this gold in here. So I am going to very carefully, I'm going to scrape out some of this. All right, and then we're going to fill up. I don't have enough left over in my cup, so I'm just going to do like a quick just add some paint in a cup. Don't have to do a whole lot, but try to get all the colors in. Some of the color flash, some of the blue flash, and a little bit of purple on top. All right. So I'm just going to go back in. I'm going to run it off the edge. I'm just going to run it around that. All right, and then let's just run it off. Okay. And I have paint running all over my feet. Hazard of the job. That's why I made my husband take out the carpet in here. I wanted to get some more of that blue in there. Okay. Let's run it back this way. Okay, I like that better. So if you ever have, somewhere that you're just not crazy about, you can always change it. It's not written in stone. You can go ahead and inject other color in there. I just kind of go with the pattern of what's going on. Alrighty. Now I'm going to take my paint brushes, and like I said, I call it drawing with paintbrushes. And I have a skewer here, so they all have different bottoms on them, different widths. So they all can do different things. In fact, this one has kind of a pointed, I don't know if you can see that, but a pointed edge on it, or a chiseled edge. So that one would give even a more different technique. But I'm going to start out with a little bit smaller, and then if I want to go, I can go with the bigger. And what I do is just pick areas that I want to enhance. I want to decide where my focal point is going to be. I'm kind of liking, I think this is my bottom. I don't know. That gold kind of took over. I'm hoping that, it's going to dry really pretty because it's a 24 karat. But I'm kind of hoping that we get some, we get some of the white coming back up through there. Okay. I kind of want to stretch out this like blob here because I don't like how it ends. And I try to go with the natural lines of what's already going on. So I'm going to pull it up. I like these little blooms down here, so I'm going to try and leave those alone. But I'm going to pull it up through here. Kind of swirl as I go. Okay, pull it out. So see how that just kind of took care of that blob that was there? It also adds interest. It starts to give it more of a composition. I love playing with this paintbrush. I'm also going to make sure you wipe after you're done. That kind of sounded kind of bad. Make sure you wipe your paintbrush after you're done. I'm going to swirl all the way down on my sides there. So I just went through to break up that paint that I had put in there. Just break that up a little bit. Just have fun with it. You're not really going to ruin anything. It's just kind of drawing and painting, and you can put some swirls in. I'm going to do some swirls here, but I just haven't really decided where yet. I kind of want to break up these blobs of gold. So I have to decide how I'm going to do that. If I was really good at balloon rolls, these would make great balloon rolls, but I haven't quite mastered that yet. I tried some of that yesterday, and yeah, it didn't go very well. These kind of look like continents right now. So let's just go in. I'm going to go not directly in the middle, but off to the center a little bit. And I'm just going to swirl those around and give it a swirl at the end. just have fun with it, play with it. You know, you can pull out the blobs if they're looking too blobby-like. One thing that is kind of going to be my thing is think about the tools you have and the things you've already learned and the techniques you can do. You know, a swipe, you could swipe some of this out if you wanted to. You could, what else, what other techniques do we have? So we have swipe, we have balloon, so I could do some balloon kisses on it. You have what I'm showing you. So all these different techniques that you've already learned, you can use in one painting. You don't have to just stick with one technique. You know, you can take a flip cup and do all kinds of crazy things with it. And then it doesn't look like a flip cup, it looks like a painting instead of just throwing paint on a canvas. Gives it a little bit more interest, structure. So I'm just going over some of these hard lines, trying to pull in some of this other color into that gold. I'm thinking about swirling this whole thing up here, but that would be really brave. I'm not sure that I'm that brave today because I'm liking where it's going. I like the design. I'm just not crazy about this. It's pretty, but it could be more interesting. Be careful too with your torch. You know, you can go into certain areas and try to get more cells up, but you don't want to get too many. You want to leave some of that background that doesn't have any silicone in it. Although I am getting some cells up here. I'm not sure where those are coming from, but they're pretty. Okay. Oh, what the heck. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be brave. I'm going to try and go around some of these pretty cells. See how that just broke that up? It's not even, I didn't even really pull in a lot of color into that swirl, but it just gave it some more interest. Really pretty. Good job. Glad I did that. It was scary. Okay. You have to be careful. Use a light touch. Don't do too much of the swirly stuff, but just enough to make it more interesting. And try to pull in those lines into other things that you already, you know, like I did that and I stopped there and it was stopped. So try to pull that in with a line that's already there. Just so you don't have, you know, something dead middle that's going to trip you up a little bit. Oh, I know. So, okay. So the dirty cup pour, you can go back in, do your, you know, dirty pour. That's another technique. Flip cup, you could do a flip cup in the middle of this. You'd have to tilt off with some more paint. You could do a flower. You could use your bottle bottom, put a flower in there. One thing to try and stay away from with composition, I know everybody talks about composition, but they don't really explain. So it is confusing and it is hard to explain, but you don't want anything in your painting dead center unless it is the only thing in the painting. It's always better to leave something off center or 2/3. They call it a 2/3 rule. So, you know, when you're looking at a horizon, if this was a horizon and you put the horizon in the dead center of the painting, it wouldn't look as interesting as if you put it on the 2/3. So down here, and this was all sky. So much more interesting. So here I've got like most of my gold is up here. So that would be the 2/3, and then the 1/3 down here is the darker and not so much gold. That makes it much more interesting than if I had a bunch of gold up here with this gold. And they also say if you're going to do something symmetrical, make sure it's exactly symmetrical. That is more interesting. So I'm going to switch to my skewer. I'm not crazy about this white blob here. That's why I'm waiting a little bit, because I'm seeing what is coming up. So I'm just going to take the pointy end and I'm just going to give that a little bit of a swirl. Okay. Like I said, don't do too much swirling. It takes away from the organicness of the painting. All right, pretty happy with that one. I think it's going to be this, I think it's going to be the bottom up to the top. But, you know, whoever buys it can decide that for themselves. And I'll have to go in and touch up all my sides because I've got some canvas showing here. So I will do that after I turn the camera off. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll be doing some more of these. Hopefully I won't play with this too much afterwards. Just wasn't happy with where that one ended. Because I try not to touch them after I turn the camera off, because I want you guys to learn what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. So that's my whole purpose of being here, is to teach. I love to teach. I used to teach at a private school. I taught art for 6 years, to kindergarten through 8th grade. So teaching is a passion. So I hope you guys have learned something today. And where are we at? Trying to make sure we don't get shut off here and I have to do 2 videos. So I'm going to take you guys down. Pardon the wobble on the camera while I get it off the tripod. But I just want you to see this close up. I don't think it's showing up great on the camera, but okay. Give you guys a close up. What's going on here? Some pretty cool stuff. There is some metallics and some color flash in here. So when it dries, it's going to be different. I think I used 3 different color flashes, and then there's probably 3 or